ሰላም ተማሪዎች እንደምን አላችሁ? ዛሬ solving quadratic inequalities የሚለውን ይዤላችሁ መጥቻለሁ። Let us see this. It says that x squared plus 2x minus 24 greater than 0 is the first one. In this case, since it is quadratic, you have to express at the forms x minus a times x minus b forms, which is either greater than 0 or less than 0, greater or equal 0, less than or equals to 0, 4. After that, it is better to apply sign chart. The first one, here is x squared plus 2x minus 24 is greater than 0. If it is possible, you will try to factorize this one. It says x squared plus 2x minus 24. We'll try to find two numbers whose sum is 2 and their product negative 24. They are what? X squared plus 6 and negative 4. This is 6x minus 4x minus 24 is greater than 0. After that, when factorize this one, it becomes, when take x is common, x into x plus 6. When take negative 4 is common here, negative 4 into x plus 6. What is common now? The common one is x plus 6. This means x plus 6 times x minus 4 is greater than 0. As you are familiar, and as I told you before, a times b is greater than 0. When a greater than 0 as well as b is greater than 0, or a is less than 0 at the same time b is less than 0. Means ምን ማለት ነው? ሁለቱም ተመሳሳይ ሳይን ካላቸው ብቻ ነው ከ0 የሚበልጡት ማለት። So we apply sign charts by taking the zeros of this one. The zeros of the factors are negative 6 and here is 4. After that, you have to apply sign chart. Sign chart and apply እናደርጋለን ወይም በኬዞቹ መስራት ትችላላችሁ. You get the same result. Here is x plus 6 and here we have x minus 4. At negative 6, this x plus 6 is 0. At the left it is negative, at the right it is positive. When take x minus 4, at 4 it is 0, at the right it is positive, at the left ምን ይሆናል? Negative ይሆናል. Then finally take their product. This means x plus 6 times x minus 4 takes the product of the sign here. Sign which product እንወስዳለን. Negative times negative, it is positive. 0 times here is 0. This is negative. 0 times negative, it is 0. Here is positive. Here is negative. This one. Negative times positive, it is what? Negative ይሆናል ማለት ነው። ጋር ስመጣ positive times 0, it is 0. At the right side of 4, ሁለቱም positive ስለሆኑ positive times positive, it is positive. What we want to find the value which is greater than 0 means it is positive values. This is positive. Here is also what? Positive values. It doesn't include 0. Therefore, the value of x becomes what? X is less than negative 6, or you can say x is greater than 4. If you want to have to express in the form of interval, this becomes negative infinity to negative 6, or union, or means union. This is 4 to positive infinity. We can express as በዚህ አይነት መንገድ መግለጽ እንችላለን. This is solution for the first one. Let us see the second problem. When you come here, x squared minus 5x minus 24 is less than or equal 0, we can say. Again, here you have, you'll try to find two numbers whose sum is negative 5 and their product negative 24. So note, what are they? Negative 8 and we can say here is 3, which is equals x squared minus 8x plus 3x minus 24 is less than or equal 0. What we have? Here is common, x is common, x into x minus 8, here is 3 is common, plus 3 into x minus 8, which is less than or equal 0. The common one is x minus 8, so it becomes x plus 3 times x minus 8 is less than or equal 0. As you are familiar that a times b is less than 0, መቼ ነው የሚሆነው? If they have opposite sign. የሁለት ቁጥሮች ብዜት less than 0 የሚሆነው መቼ ነው? If they have opposite sign ካላቸው. So greater now x plus 3. At negative 3 it is 0 ይሆናል. At the left of negative 3 it is negative. At the right it is positive. Let us the second one, x minus 8. At 8 it is 0. At the right it is positive. At the left it is negative. Then finally takes their product. That means x plus 3 times x minus 8. We take this, negative times negative, it is positive. 0 times negative, it is 0. Here is positive times negative, it is negative. Here is positive, here is 0, it is their product is 0. Positive times positive, it is positive. What we want? We want to find what the value which is less than or equal 0 means what? It is 0 as well as it is negative. The interval is this one. Therefore, the value of x becomes negative 3 less than or equal x is less than or equal 8. Or if you want to have to put it in the form of interval, this becomes negative 3 to 8 state including the boundaries. Boundary include ያደርጋል በዚህ አይነት መንገድ መግለጽ እንችላለን ማለት። If you want to have to apply these cases and you will get the same result. ኬዙንም apply በማድረግ the same result ማግኘት ትችላላችሁ. You'll see it. The third one, it says in this case, it is better to apply what? General quadratic formula, since we don't find a number whose sum is -3 and their product is minus x minus 3 is less than 0. So let's be x is equals in 0 የሚያደርገው ስንወስድ negative b means that is 3 plus or minus the square root of b square negative 3 square is that is 9 minus 4ac. A is 1, our c is -3 divided by that is 2a 2. What about now? This is equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus 4 times 3 that is 12. 12 plus 9 is 21, which is divided by 2. So what are the zeros of x? X is equals to 3 minus the square root of 21 over 2, or x is equals to 3 plus the square root of 21 over 2 here. What does it show? This shows that x minus here 3 minus the square root of 21 over 2 is equals to 0, or here is x minus 3 plus the square root of 21 over 2 is equals to here is 0. What does it show? ይህ ምን ያሳያል? ሁለቱም equal 0 means the factors are x minus 3 minus 21 the square root of 21 over 2 times x minus 3 plus the square root of 21 over 2 is less than 0. So we consider the cases now. The zeros are the values, and by considering the zeros and by factorizing this, by equating this is equal 0, we can find or apply sign chart. The 0 here is 3 minus the square root of 21 over 2. The other one is 3 plus the square root of 21 over 2. Then factorize this. X minus it is 3 minus the square root of 21 over 2. The second case too, x minus here is 3 plus the square root of 21 over 2. You know, at this point 3 minus the square root of 21 over 2, at this point here x minus 3 minus the square root of 21 over 2 this is 0. At the left of this means you have to take values at the left of this one. In that case it becomes what? Negative. At the right it is positive or normal. Take any values. As 3 plus the square root of 21 over 2, this becomes 0. As the left it is negative, as the right of it, it is positive. Then finally, take the product of the innocent product sinus, it becomes x squared minus 3x minus 3. Then negative times negative, it becomes positive. 0 times negative, it becomes 0. Positive times negative, it is what? Negative. Positive times 0, it is 0. Positive times positive. At the right side of this positive slowly, it is the inequality that says that it is what? Less than 0. Less than 0 means the negative values. Therefore, the value of x which satisfies this is equals 3 minus the square root of 21 over 2 is less than x. X is strictly less than 3 plus the square root of 21 over 2. This is the value of x. በዚህ አይነት መንገድ ማስቀመጥ እንችላለን. Or if you want to have to put it in the form of interval, open interval 3 minus the square root of 21 over 2, comma 3 plus the square root of 21 over 2, it is opposite. The minus መንገድ ማስቀመጥ. We can solve such forms. Let us see D. In case of D, it says 2x squared minus x minus 2 greater or equal 0. This means we have to perform this one. 2x squared minus x minus 2 is greater or equal 0. Again, as we did before, it is better to apply general quadratic formula to find the zeros of this. In general, x is equals negative b, that is 1, plus or minus the square root of b square 1 square, that is 1 square means 1 plus 4, this is minus 4a, that is 2, that is c is what? Negative 2. Divided by 2a, that is 4, which is equals 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 times 2, negative 8 times negative 2, that is 16. 16 plus 1, that is 17, 1, 7. Divided by, here is 4. So the factors are, this is equals to, x is equals 1 minus the square root of 17 divided by 4, or x is equals to 1 plus the square root of 17 divided by 4. This is equals x minus 1 minus the square root of 17, 17 divided by 4 is equals 0, or this is x minus 1 plus the square root of 17 divided by 4 is equals to 0 So we know the factors. The factors are that is 1 minus the square root of 17 divided by 4 and 1 plus the square root of 17 divided by 4. We apply this is greater or equal 0. So take this one. This is x minus 1 minus the square root of 17 divided by 4. Here is 1. Similarly, x minus 1 plus the square root of 17 divided by 4. The other one. At this point, this one is 0. At the left, it's negative. At the right, it is positive. The second one, at 1 plus the square root of 17 over 4, it is 0. At the left is negative. Here is negative. At the right is positive. When you take the product of this, it becomes 2x square minus x minus 2. The product is this one. 2x square minus x minus 2. Now, take the values at the left of 1 minus the square root of 17 over 4. Negative times negative, it becomes positive. 0 times negative, it is 0. Positive times negative, it is negative. Positive times 0 is the positive. Here 0 salon, it is 0. Positive times positive, it is positive. What we want to find values which is greater or equal 0 salon. Greater or equal 0 means this interval as well as this interval, including what? This boundaries. Therefore, the solution for this is equals x is less than or equal 1 minus the square root of 17 over 4, or x is greater or equal 1 plus the square root of 17 over 4. Or in the form of interval, this is negative infinity to 1 minus the square root of 17 over 4, including it union. Here is 1 plus the square root of 17 over 4 to positive infinity. We can express such forms. This is the solution for our quadratic function inequalities, particularly that is D. E says that x square is less than or equal. What does it show? This shows that x square minus 16 is less than or equal 0. We can express 16 to the left side minus minus. Then factorize this. This is x minus 4 times x plus 4 is less than or equal, that is 0. After obtaining this, it is better to apply sign chart. The zeros are negative 4 and 4. So this is x plus 4. At negative 4 it is 0. At the left negative 1. At the right is positive. Minus 4. At 4 it is 0. At the right is positive. At the left is negative 1. So take their product. Products note, this is x square minus 16. It becomes. At the left of negative 4, negative 4 at the left side 1. Negative times negative, it is positive 1. At negative 4 it is 0. This one is negative ስለሆነ the product 0 times negative, it is 0. Between negative 4 and 4, this one is positive, the first one. The second is negative, so positive times negative, it is negative. At 4, the first one that is positive, the second one that is 0, so positive times 0, it is 0. At the right side of 4, both are positive. Positive times positive, it is positive. Therefore, we want to find what the value which is less than or equal 0 means what? It is 0 as well as including what? Negative values. Therefore, the value of x that satisfies this property, negative 4 is less than or equal x. X is less than or equal 4. Or, if you want, you can express at the forms negative 4 to 4, including it. በዛ አይነት መንገድ express ማድረግ እንችላለን ማለት ነው። ስለዚህ ሁልጊዜ for you solve such quadratic inequality, it is better to make the problem at the forms ax square plus bx plus c is greater than 0 or less than 0 or greater or equal 0 or less than or equal 0, then apply sign chart. This is a way of solving such problems. So this is all for today. ለዛሬ ዘላይ ይበቃናል። ስለዚህ ቻናሉን ሰብስክራይብ፣ ላይክ፣ ሼር ማድረጋችሁን አትርሱ። ማንኛውም ተመሳሳይ ጥያቄ ካላችሁ ኮሜንት ላይ አስቀምጡልን። በተመሳሳይ ይዘን እንመጣለን። ባይ ባይ።